is us and the orb on
my boobs.
on her heart chakra.
Look, I'm just
We
saying.
had to take a week off because we were at the Core Connections retreat. If you guys are following along, you know that we spent a week on a boat and it was amazing and wonderful. But hence the break, and so I think House Ghost is just happy that
Well, but I also think we did so much inner work, like it was really deep, like Dark Night of the Soul kind of deep retreat work. I think it's adjusting to our vibes now.
I agree.
Like our vibes are different in a good way, like higher.
Yeah.
So I'm freezing over here. My hands are freezing.
Well, if you guys are following along with us during the retreat, you know that every day we were doing guided meditation, mindful movement, creating art. It was really lovely.
It's amazing.
And one of the offshoots is that as I was doing the programming for the retreat, I wasn't necessarily worried about a routine, right? So, as you guys know, my flavor of ADHD, I'm either super like type A organized or it's chaos.
She's also Gemini, which explains all of that.
So,
Two different selves, all or nothing. This is why this is the type of thing she does of like, buying a house with 5 acres where you've never seen it before, that kind of thing.
Yes, I do. So
things I don't do being a Virgo.
I've tried doing organized chaos. I can't do it. So at any rate, when I was doing the programming, I wasn't really necessarily worried about making a schedule or a routine. It was just more like, how can I be loving and mindful for both of us, considering we both, have our own issues and challenges. But I wanted us to be able to have those three core things every day. Well,
and I'm not ADHD, so it is different.
Yeah.
Because I have two of you. I'm surrounded by the ADHD all the time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not.
No.
I know I can be a little higher energy, but I'm not. It's just interesting with stuff like that. Especially finding out more stuff about yourself.
Mhm.
Going to find out the different layers because a lot of times you get other things with it. Like I have dyslexia. Yeah. And I've known about that for a long time.
Yep. And I know sometimes our motivations or our energetic cores can differ from day to day. Our number of spoons can differ from day to day. And so basically, the retreat routine that we ended up doing was so substantially awesome. We ended up being able to do everything we wanted to do every day
And more.
We
had free time, especially some days
It
because
was pretty cool.
Well, everything was different in the way of it was a block.
Yeah.
I have these tasks I have to do in this amount of hours, say 3 hours, and I have these 4 things to do. I can do them in whatever order is best for me, what I'm feeling. Sometimes you look at one thing, you're like, oh, I can't do that right now. But I'll do that after I do this. Maybe I'll do my meditation first, and then I'll do, the gratitude ladder, and then I'll do this. Maybe I'll switch it up a little day. And we kind of did that.
Yeah.
And some days we just flew through the first section and we were done in like an hour or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we had all this other free time.
But it was great because sometimes it takes you a while to get into things, and that was built in, right?
Wake up.
Yeah.
Brain wake up.
I've done time blocking things before in the past, trying to create tools that I can actually use in the real world. And the game changer for me for this retreat was that I had set up 15 minutes like warning bells before the next alarm. And I had set it up to where they had their own little like nice, like
not stressful, not triggering.
Yes.
Like your wake up call.
A completely different alarm sound that's different from your wake up call. It's
Ooh, that triggers me. Ooh.
Yeah. And it's just a nice little floaty sound.
Yeah. It was lovely, actually.
For me, it was a game changer because in the past, when I was doing like time blocks, I lose track of time. I get into a role, and then the bell goes off, and I'm like, "Oh crap! I've got to stop immediately and move on to something else."
Then you feel rushed and you feel off because you didn't get to finish the task. So then it like throws you off for everything else, really.
And I know it seems silly to be like, "Oh, duh, just put a warning bell." But hey, it took me to here to do it. Well, let me tell you that 15-minute warning bell, it is everything because
you didn't know until you tried it.
Exactly. But for me, it allowed me to shut up my head So I was not watching the clock. I was not worried about when the next alarm was going to
Because you
happen.
know you're going to be warm.
Yes.
And plenty of time to like
To get
finish
to a
what.
stopping point.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And more importantly than the stopping point, that last 15 minutes, 15 minutes is a really long time. And in fact, in our very first book, The Pinup Boot Camp, we were talking about time management.
Yes.
We did this exercise for the women in our workshop. They had to hold their hands out like this, ooh, and hold a teacup with water.
But you think, oh, that's easy, 3 minutes, whatever. Oh,
3 minutes.
Even without the teacup, your arms, like gravity, it goes against you.
Yeah.
Like gravity is not your friend, and that crap hurts. And then you have like, unless you have like, but even if you've barely been working out, even those people.
Yeah. So it shows you exactly how freaking long 3 minutes actually is. Well, 15 minutes is even longer than that, and you'd be surprised at how much you can get done. So instead of getting like I found myself instead of trying to get to a stopping point, I realized I could put finishing touches on.
Well, and for people like us, we have no concept of time.
Yeah. So
she said before, it could be 2 minutes, it could be 2 hours. Sometimes she won't realize.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Well, I mean, I have moments like that too. I'm like, oh crap, what time is it?
Well, especially when you get into something.
And it's just getting worse.
Yeah.
Because I didn't used to be like this, but I think I was like too obsessed with the clock. Because that can be a thing too. Of like, I'm just going to give myself tons of anxiety and keep looking at the clock and like, oh,
Or it would take me 3 hours to get into the mindset of to be able to do something, and then
it still does.
And sometimes those days. But for me, it's cool because if it takes me forever to get into task A, I know that I can take a little bit of a break, rearrange my mind, and go into task B without any guilt. I'm not going to feel guilty for dropping task A because this is now permission to move on to something else, and I'm not beating my head. Because sometimes you're just not going to be productive on the same things every day. I don't care who you are.
Well, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That gives you the grace.
So, highly recommend it.
Self-care.
If you guys are part of the retreat, then you got the handout and all of the tools. But here is a screenshot of the routine that we did. I have recreated my own for every single day in my own life, and I highly suggest you do the same.
Yeah.
So.
It was great.
Yeah. Also, we got to do art.
Yes.
Just for the fun of it.
Well, and that was very it was very meditating, one of those grounding, relaxing situations. And I know for myself, I was actually nervous about painting because it's been a minute since I've painted. Not like a crazy amount of time, but also originally we were going to do tutorial. And we kind of both went away from we kind of both did our own thing, as you've seen from the art we made, of that restriction of the tutorial kind of make me like,
Yeah.
I'm such a rebel. Like, it's my art. I do what I want to. I'm not following your patterns. I want to have fun. But for the last 10 years for me, that really has been therapeutic. I call it chaos painting. This is when I really started doing it. Of like, I would just basically get your emotions out, have a nervous breakdown on the camera or the camera, the canvas. My brain. Dyslexia, mix up words. It starts with the same letter.
It was an amazing time, and we had a little bit of a rocky start with regards to the homesteading
because of life. Because of life, so you can't. There's certain things you can't plan for.
Exactly.
Like 8 preemies.
Yeah. We had 8
or 7, 8 preemies.
We had 8 preemie hatchlings. We had 7 little chicks right now in their brooder. This is our 3rd generation going.
Which is wonderful, but also insane.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Especially with the little tween ones because they're fast and they are
highly
rebellious. Yeah. and fast and going over and trying to eat my plants. It's crazy.
What we've been doing. What we've been doing since getting back from our core connection retreat, which was where we got reconnected with our own core as our individuals and also as our group. but also having a fresh start coming here to the farm. And immediately she started garden goddessing over here. There's seedlings happening.
Me and my Virgo self.
Mhm. Yes.
Which is, it really is a thing because that's one of those things that ground me. Just have my hands in the dirt, just it really is of just creating something, having something grow.
Mhm. And I know right now that we're not the only ones worried about the grocery bills and things.
Well,
So,
it's getting crazy, and it's like they're keep popping up. You got the bird flu, you got this, you got that, and everyone's like, "Oh crap!"
and
It's gone over to gone over to the Mucal land now,
I know, and
which is like
honestly,
scary
it really is.
because it could affect the milk. It could not to be
Mhm.
scary. It's just one of those, keeping an eye on things, but
Right.
don't
So,
freak yourself out.
any way that we can mitigate your grocery bill or something like we don't want you guys to be food insecure. And meanwhile, like if we can do it, you can do it.
And it's expensive to eat
It
healthy,
really is.
and it takes, even with homesteading, it takes time. It's not like
Mhm.
what magical poof.
Yeah.
We had our girls laying and now they're being buttholes
Yeah.
because we changed their food to something that actually would help them with this situation. But now they're all like,
And the weather's been awful since
yeah,
storms
I think that's been
and
part of it too. A lot of loud
yeah.
noises. They're not used to it. They're in a different environment. It probably sounds different in that building because
Yep.
who
So,
knows?
you can't always have a guarantee, but every little bit does help, you know. And what we're doing this year is we are doing all of our produce in containers. Now, what this means is we're going to be documenting our experience. So, again, containers are highly accessible, whether you have a yard or a patio or even a windowsill. Container gardening is an absolute thing that you very much should do.
Absolutely. Because you don't know how your ground is. Ours is very rocky,
Mhm.
like a lot of little rocks and stuff. So it's one of those, it takes at least twice as long, if not three times as long to do stuff because you're getting through all that crap. It's also very acidic, which is bad for many plants, except for like, wildflowers, which is awesome.
Yep.
And we're gonna do that a lot because they love that acid. Wildflowers and acid. Oh, what?
Um, this property, before I got it, the lady who owned it, she had a flower business and she grew all the flowers here.
Which felt like you cut and go, or what is it called?
Cut and come again.
Cut and come again.
So
I was almost.
every year we get irises and lilacs and
Oh, and the lilacs are amazing.
we need to cut back the rose bushes and see if they'll bloom, but it's kind of crazy. But meanwhile, trying to grow vegetation in the soil. So we're just going to do the containers because last year we tried it. We tried right in the ground. We did the tilling, which no, we're not messing around. So we're going to take the guesswork out of it. Container gardening, highly suggest it, and stay tuned as we show which day what.
Absolutely. Well, yesterday I was basically like germinating for 2 weeks, and then any plants that survived, um, move them out. But it was still a decent amount. I got a decent amount of tomatoes, decent amount of
We had a
lettuces,
baby chicken
microgreens.
attack on the sproutlings, and they
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, that's what I'm saying of like what lasted, but also what, some things are just moody
Yeah.
and you don't know how the seeds are. They might not be the best seeds. You don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I
get good
mean?
seeds if you
Well,
can. If you
but even
as soon as
those,
possible.
you might not get. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah. And
Everything's very.
sprout a little bit more than you think you're gonna need. 'Cause
Oh,
like you
always.
said.
I'm germinating more microgreens and cucumber right now. I started that yesterday.
Mm.
And I'll do some other stuff this next week. It's April. April showers.
So
Bring all the goodness. I'm ready. Come on.
so the homestead, the farmstead is taking off and very excited about it. But like I was saying, you do not have to have a big property. You can have a small little patch of land, you can have a patio, you can have a windowsill, and you can still grow what you can. And you can kind of own the means of production, kind of cut out the middleman and whatever you're able to grow and eat. That's what you don't have to have a grocery bill for. And at the end of the day, help.
Absolutely. Absolutely helps.
And depending on where you're at, look into foraging classes.
Oh my gosh. I'm so into it. There's one that happens here around November, or it did. I have to look into it, but
Yeah, look around.
I'm all about it.
Chances are there's probably like an agricultural extension you can call or what have you, or maybe even a program or something like that someone is hosting that you
Yeah.
can go live. I know that there's plenty of stuff online too, if that's what you have.
It's
Have
just so
fun.
fascinating.
Yeah,
It's so fascinating.
exactly. So
And I recommend actually having, I mean, you can look, especially mushrooms, watch out because a lot of them are like, will make you sick.
yeah,
And you got to be really cautious. So it's just one of those, like, literally make sure you get a legit person. Make sure you over research because you don't want to make yourself sick. You don't want to eat some berries that are poisonous. Like, there's some that look similar to each other. So it's one of those, like really
wash
knowing what
them
you're
and cook
doing.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, don't just
But it's just one of those, be
Oh.
cautious with these things because you can make yourself sick.
Yes.
That's why it's good to like educate yourself or have somebody that really actually knows what they're doing teach you.
Yep. It is fascinating stuff. If
Oh my
you want to
gosh,
get into
so
it,
awesome.
yeah.
So cool. It just makes you feel like, oh, yeah, I'm awesome. Please me.
But
That's how I feel.
as we are expanding the
Oh,
farm,
we
we
about
have,
to upgrade next level, baby.
yeah, we're gonna upgrade our business here, a little situational farmstead here.
But we're not telling you what it is. We're gonna do a little teaser. Don't worry, you will know on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because we'll have to see. It's supposed to happen Monday, but you know how I just.
Yep. And also Tuesday.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know. We'll see.
Mhm.
But sometime next week.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that.
And
We're
you know,
excited. Oh, I will say one thing. It is another form of meat for us.
that is a good hint.
That's all I'm saying. Because anything else you're gonna know. And what's the fun of that?
Yes.
How is that gonna amuse me?
Exactly. And if you've been following along, you know our first expansion after chickens. If you know what that is, put it in the comments. If you remember what that is, put it in the comments. That will be included in our upcoming update. So stay tuned for that. Very excited about all of these.
Well, there's a lot of things happening, but there's a lot of things happening, and that's part of it. We got end of May is Tremendicon.
Yeah.
So it's a countdown to that. It's always a countdown to that with this because that's gonna be a big one for us. Just prepping for that, and it's just we want to make a good show. We want to have fun, and we want to be
This is going to be officially our first convention as Connection Games.
and we want to look boss ass.
And we're so excited. We've got a lot of work to do, but we can do it.
Yeah. We've already done so many testers and different things. Everything's been beautiful and positive, and it's. I think the main thing is it's gonna be a lot of people.
It's going to be a lot of people.
It's gonna be more than we've been used to in a while, and it's just kind of prepping for that because back in the day we did that easy.
Yeah,
I could go in that mode real fast, but you know what? It's been a minute, and girl is more sensitive.
Exactly.
But it's just prepping that and getting a good mindset and being healthy and being gentle with yourself. And make sure you get sleep and maybe eat something, maybe hydrate. And,
Those human mortal things that you don't think about when you're in work mode. Especially.
Well, but you have to, you're just going to burn out. And then if you have a couple of day event, you're screwed.
And guess what, guys? You are absolutely allowed to and encouraged to put on timers with their own unique sounds for each category, including meal times. If you are running a booth at a Tremendicon,
and that's huge for us because we forget
anybody. So I highly suggest it.
Welcome to autism. We forget to eat. Why is that?
ADHD.
Why are we like that? Why do we forget to eat? Why? I think just because with celiac and with different things, I don't get hungry as much.
With me, I just forget because I'm like,
you get so focused on something.
Yeah.
You get so like passionately focused, hyper focused on something.
That's exactly right.
My body doesn't tell me until I'm like, or dehydrated. That's the big thing. If you're like, I really got to stay on top of drinking water anyway because of my business. But man, sometimes you just go a little bit too long and then you drink the watering, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. What? I feel like a desert, and you don't even realize until you actually drink something. Or you
Hydrate.
actually eat something.
Hydrate yourself.
That's the most important thing. You need to eat also, but hydrating is the most important thing. For dealing with your business too, because you got to think about with your energy, with the balancing. We're made mostly of water. I think you need to add to
I'm
that.
gonna do a cut right here. Okay, listen. I need to talk to you about homegirl here. She is in that hydration station crew. This is her 3 drinks, right? She's got it for caffeine, for hydration, and for fun. Do you understand? If you know, you know.
Sunny.
Right? 3 drinks. 3
Yeah.
beverages.
That's normal.
So yeah. Let us know if you have any guesses to what she is alluding to. We are going to have
Doesn't
a
mean I'm going to tell
third
you what it
upgrade.
is.
And also let us know if you remember what our second upgrade is. So those are going to be in our upcoming updates. As you guys know, keep
And the orb's back. I felt it too.
Orb's back. House Ghost is back.
Why am I was like, oh, look at my, why am I freezing? Oh, look at the orb on the chest. Hot chakra. You can't even see it. My shirt says Thor. I like the shirt. It's Thor. Some of my thick shirts. Look at all the things. Going to galaxy because we're nerds. And Groot. Yes, Groot's yes, big Groot's the best. Well, if you guys are in and around and you want to see us at Tremendicon, come see us at Tremendicon. It's the end of May. End of May. In Springfield, Missouri. It is. What do we have dates for that? It is like May 28th or 29th or something like that. Anyway, okay. I was like, I think I was trying to go. It's the end of May and the butt front of June. Okay. That's what I was thinking. It's like 4 days, I think. It's like 3 or 4 days. It's some days. Tremendous. There are some days that it is. That we will be there. And we'll be doing all of those days. Yeah. Looking boss ass. Nice stuff. Cute because that's what we do. We're going to have our booth is going to be in the hallway, not in the vendors. We're going to be in the artist alley. Right at the door. Right there. And we're going to be doing demos all con long. So come out and see us. I think are we demoing 2 games? We are demoing. And doing 5 games? 5 all games. So we are demoing. I just said that being like crazy, but we really are. Yeah. I mean, we have 5 games. So, we're doing everything. Yep. And it's kind of awesome because we're going to be demoing at our booth. We're also going to be demoing in the demo game room. So I'm really excited about that. If you are there and you miss us, you can go to the demo game room and check it out and play it on your own. And then come back and let us know what you think about it. Feedback. And we're giving free prizes at the booth. So, get your free stuff. Come get free stuff, hang out with us, play games. It'll be fun. We're fun. Tremendicon. We're super fun. And that is one of many cons we're going to. That's our first year. Yes. That's our first big one. Yeah. We're being very selective, and then next year we'll expand a little bit where we're going to see, because I mean, it's all travel, it's all expense, and also we're having all this stuff. Yeah. Exactly. We're having all this stuff starting. Yeah. It's not a well-done machine yet. It's in the beginning phases, so we can only be gone for so long at a time, and we can't expect everybody else to help us. Exactly. So we're trying to be all the women independent. Yeah, we want the boys doing too much because we want them to snip something. Exactly. I mean, that's real. I'm just playing. So, but if you guys have ever, worked with livestock, it's not like you can just call in sick. It's not like you can have a vacation from your livestock, right? So whenever we leave, we have to make sure that there's somebody. Well, just like with the preemies thing happening. Yeah, exactly. With the freaking 8 preemies happening. Like, we were expecting that the next week. What happened? Oh, all Monday of the retreat, we pretty much had to deal with babies. Mm-hmm. But that's okay because it was worth it. You can plan all you want on a farm with livestock, but plans. I mean, Yeah, they say when you make plans, God laughs at you. And so that's happened to me a lot. And so does your hatching chickens. I mean, literally, like that's first day of the retreat is like, come back.
there's all these babies hatching.
All these babies are hatching
So, okay.
early.
Yeah, it was amazing though. And now we have
Oh, and they're so cool.
third generation,
They're
and
they're funny.
so excited.
And there's the mix. We're getting the coolest mix of chickens to the point of some of them we're trying to figure out. But
And we have
it's hard when you're young, like when the babies are young, to figure out what is what. Some of the eggs were labeled, but we had to even figure that out because sometimes it was like a Tina B.
Yeah.
Or like, what the hell is that?
What is
Because
that?
it could be multiple
Yes.
things, you know? So we're like,
But
"Ah,
we do
yes."
have 2 chickens now. One is a pullet and one is a EB baby chick. And they're the kinds with like the fluffy legs, like the Brahma kind of fluffy
Yes.
legs.
The fluffy feet.
And
Yep.
we think the older one could be a Roo. I really hope
The younger one might be too. I don't know. I don't know if she's just mouthy or if she's rude.
Yeah, let's see.
She's a little taller.
Yep. Let's see.
I'm still saying she. That's funny. The, the chicken named Bunny.
Yep. They're so cool.
And even if it's a boy, it's super funny.
No, definitely look into your like local ordinances and stuff like that. I'm on a lot of like chicken forums, and it is heartbreaking when people get a chicken or 2 chickens or something like that, only to realize that they can't keep them.
Yeah. Well, my neighbors, because I live on the other side of town, my neighbors brought a like petition around that they could keep it. You know, like my neighbors they're fine with the chickens. They're fine with having the chickens. They have like 2 chickens. You know, we have like way more than 2 chickens.
And if you get chickens, definitely fortify whatever they're in with hardware cloth. Chicken wire is not going to help keep it predator proof. Also, don't get less than 2 chickens. They are a social creature. They won't live very long. And but get 2 chickens. And if possible, okay, here's what you don't want. Here's what you do not want. You do not want 1 rooster and 1 hen. Depending on where you go, if you just get them as chicks, like for example, Tractor Supply Company, all right, some of them are straight runs and some of them are sexed.
Yeah.
If you are only going to get 2 chickens, get the sexed because they're going to be females, and that's fine. If you get a straight run or a set of straight runs, one of those could be a rooster, but you will not know it until they grow up. At that point,
and you don't want a rooster unless you're wanting to have more babies.
A lot of ordinances will not allow you to keep a rooster at
because
all.
they're loud.
They're loud.
And they can be aggressive because they're the watchdogs of the babies.
And they don't want a breeding, practice to happen or, like illegal breeding. So definitely, definitely look out for that. Because you don't want to raise up a baby, fall in love, that's a rooster, and now you got to rehouse it. You don't want that. And also, even if you could keep them,
they're a lot.
You don't want 1 rooster and 1 hen because that hen will not live very long if that rooster keeps bothering her, if you know what I mean. So just do yourself a favor and save yourself the heartache. Get at least 3 chicks, especially if you're going to go straight run. You never know.
You don't.
You can also do other things for the environment that you don't even have to have a green thumb. You don't have to have the heart for livestock or the patience for it. There are leaf cutter beads. You can buy a kit.
We've talked about them. We've talked about them before. They're awesome. They're so cool.
And it's so important to, conserve the bee population.
Yeah.
Not to mention, no matter where you are, we all benefit from pollination. So, you can do your part and it's a lot of fun.
Most people don't think about that because they don't think about flowers. They don't think about, the pollination with vegetables and fruits and things.
Exactly, yeah. Or even just your local environment, Yeah.
Because it's important. They're a big, big part of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Despite when you put out flowers, think about that for like the butterflies, for the bees, like those kind of blends. And they'll tell you, you can always, you can Google anything, but at the same time, usually, you can look at the packages and stuff and they'll explain to you what it is.
I think it's cool. Y'all should look into
Oh,
it.
it's just awesome and beautiful. And you're helping the world. You're helping your environment.
Yeah. And if you guys are into bees or, bee conservation, let us know what you're doing. Thank you guys.
Drink your water. Stay hydrated, kids.
Stay hydrated, kids. And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, minions.